England had a plan to stop Messi. Step 1. Stop Messi. Step 2, and this is where the plan ran into some structural difficulties. There was no step 2. Argentina won. Again. Here is what we know. There is a man who is 39 years old, who has been playing professional football since he was 17, who has won the Ballon d'Or 8 times, who holds the record for most World Cup goals of all time, and who at this exact moment, right now, today, in 2026, leads Argentina in every single tracked statistical category at this World Cup. Goals, assists, key passes, dribbles, chances created, big chances created, accurate crosses, all 7, at 39. England is somewhere processing that. France is watching film very carefully. And if you just watched Argentina beat England and you are wondering how a person becomes this, how a human being arrives at this specific impossible place, then buckle up. This is your life at every level as the GOAT. Not a goat, not Lee Goat, not goatish, not goat adjacent, the GOAT. Level 1, Rosario, Argentina, 1987. You are born into a family where your father works in a steel factory and your mother cleans houses, and football is not a hobby, it is the air. It is the wallpaper. It is the thing that happens outside, on the street, on any flat surface, with anything round enough to kick. You start playing at 5. This is not unusual in Argentina. What is unusual is what happens when you play. The other children who are bigger, older, faster, already established in the pecking order of the street game, they cannot get the ball off you. Cannot get the ball off you like he is pretty good for his age. Cannot get the ball off you like there is a force field around the ball that only you have access to and everyone else is politely informed that visiting hours are closed. Your grandmother is the one who pushes your family to put you in a proper club. Grandma Celia brings you to Newell's Old Boys. You play your first official match. The opposition players watch a small, quiet child take the ball in the middle of the pitch, and then they discover that the child does not intend to give it back. Level 2. You are 10 years old, which is a completely reasonable age to be considering a life-changing contract with one of the most powerful football clubs on earth. Completely normal. Totally regular childhood situation. The doctors discover you have a growth hormone deficiency. This means your body is not producing enough of a specific hormone to ensure you grow at the rate it should. Left untreated, you would likely remain significantly shorter than most footballers, in a sport where the physical version of the game increasingly demands size and physicality alongside skill. The treatment costs $900 a month. Your family cannot afford it. Barcelona can. The deal, and this is genuinely what happened, this is not a metaphor, this actually occurred in the real world, is written, famously, on a paper napkin. A paper napkin. Barcelona will pay for the growth hormone treatment. In exchange, you will sign with Barcelona. Your family moves to Spain. You are 13. You leave Argentina. You leave Rosario. You leave the streets and the grandmother who pushed you into football and the only world you have ever known. And you move to a foreign country, as a child, to play football for a club that has acquired you, partially, in exchange for medical treatment. This is either the most heartwarming story in sports history or an extremely aggressive negotiating position by a football club. It is somehow both. Level 3. Barcelona's youth academy, La Masia, is the most prestigious football education facility on earth. You arrive. You are small. You are quiet. You are from Argentina, and you are 13 years old. And your Spanish has an Argentine accent that the Catalan kids will cheerfully tease you about. You do not mind. You have the ball. The coaches at La Masia have seen every version of talented young player that exists. They have developed Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, Guardiola before them. They know what great looks like. They watch you train for approximately 14 seconds and call the first team coaching staff. You make your official debut for Barcelona's first team at 16. 16. For context, when you are 16 in the United States, you are legally permitted to drive in most states with restrictions in the hours between 6 a.m. and 11 p.m. You are not permitted to vote. You are not permitted to drink. You are not permitted to sign a legal contract without a parent's signature. But you are permitted, apparently, to be the most exciting player in one of the best football leagues on earth. Rules are weird. Level 4, you win the Ballon d'Or. Then you win it again. Then again. Then again. 4 consecutive Ballon d'Or awards from 2009 to 2012. Then 2 more after that. Then an 8th in 2023 that was either a sporting achievement or a personal apology from the universe for the 2022 it had given you. More on that in a moment. The footage from this period of your career is the kind of footage that makes philosophers uncomfortable, not because it is violent or offensive, because it should not be physically possible. The dribble against Qatar in 2007 that people still argue is the greatest individual goal ever scored. The 5 goals against Bayer Leverkusen in a single Champions League match. The season where you scored 91 goals in a calendar year, 91. In a year that has 365 days, 91 goals. The second highest total from a human being who was also extremely good at football was 55. There's a word for the gap between 55 and 91. That word is Messi, level 5, Argentina. This is the level where the story gets complicated. Because Lionel Messi is the most gifted footballer of his generation, and possibly any generation, and Argentina is a country of 46 million people who have decided, collectively, that his ability to deliver trophies on the international stage is a referendum on whether he deserves to exist in their national mythology. This is a lot of pressure to put on one human being, particularly when that human being spent most of his formative years in Spain. The comparison is always Maradona. Diego Maradona, who won the World Cup in 1986, who scored the Hand of God goal against England, which, by the way, England 2 defeats to Argentina at the World Cup involving goals that should probably be discussed. The 1986 one that definitely should not have counted, and the 2026 one that absolutely did. Nature finds a way. Maradona is Argentina. Maradona is blood and faith and the street. And every time Argentina underperforms at a tournament, the argument arrives like a season. Messi is not Argentine enough. Messi plays for himself. Messi is not a leader. You hear this. You are the best player in the world, and your own country has a complicated relationship with you. This is what level 5 looks like. You keep playing anyway. Level 6, the Copa America finals. Argentina lose to Brazil. Argentina lose on penalties to Chile. Argentina lose on penalties to Chile again. Chile, in the same tournament, back-to-back, to the same team. Messi retires from international football after the 2016 final. He announces it is done. He is going home. The entire country of Argentina responds with what can only be described as a collective emotional emergency. 46 million people essentially say, no, absolutely not. You are not doing that. Get back out there. You come back. Then 2019, then 2021. Copa America 2021. Argentina win. First Copa America in 28 years. Messi's first major international trophy. The footage of Messi after that match is the footage of someone who has been carrying something for 15 years and is only now allowed to put it down for 30 seconds before picking it up again. It is the most important 30 seconds in the history of crying in a football uniform. Level 7. Qatar. 2022. The story that changed everything. Argentina began the tournament by losing to Saudi Arabia, a result so shocking that it briefly broke the internet, the stock market, and the internal coherence of every person on earth who had bet money on Argentina. Then they win every single match after that. They face France in the final. France, led by Kylian Mbappé, who is arguably the second best player on the planet and who scores a hat-trick in the final to make it the greatest World Cup final in history and then loses on penalties anyway. Mbappé scores 3 goals in the final. 3. In a World Cup final. And still loses. That is either the most heroic performance in defeat in sporting history or the most devastating advertisement for the gap between second place and first place that has ever existed. Messi wins the World Cup. He is 35 years old. He lifts the trophy. And the entire planet, with the possible exception of France, agrees on something that it is very difficult to get the entire planet to agree on. He deserved it. Level 8. Inter Miami. You join an American soccer team. This is, depending on your perspective, either a warm-down lap of honor or the most effective piece of marketing for professional football in the United States since, arguably, ever. People who have never watched a single second of soccer in their entire lives are suddenly buying Inter Miami shirts. The MLS attendance figures move in a direction that nobody in American professional soccer had previously experienced. Pink shirts, everywhere. The man who played in El Clásico, who won the Champions League, who carried the Copa America, is now playing in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Florida is having a moment. People ask whether this is a retirement move. The answer to that question is the entire rest of this video. Level 9, the 2026 World Cup, expanded to 48 nations, held across 3 countries, the biggest tournament ever staged. Messi is 39. Nobody who is 39 does this. Nobody who is 39 should statistically be doing this. The Argentine squad has quality. Julian Alvarez, McAllister, De Paul, Enzo Fernandez, genuinely excellent footballers who on any other team would be the story. On this team, they are the supporting cast, and Messi is the film. 8 goals, 2 assists, leading every single tracked category at 39. He beats Algeria, he beats Austria, he beats Jordan, he beats Cape Verde. He fights back from 2 goals down against Egypt, and then England, a country that has been waiting 60 years for a World Cup final. A country whose entire football identity is built on what happened in 1966 and what has not happened since. A country whose fans arrived in Atlanta carrying 60 years of hope and a plan. Step 1. Stop Messi. The plan lasted approximately until Messi touched the ball. Argentina win. Messi scores. Of course he does. Level 10. Sunday. Argentina versus France. Messi versus Mbappé. The defender of the throne versus the heir to the throne. Mbappé is 27 years old, and at the absolute physical peak of his powers, leading the Golden Boot race tied with Messi on 8 goals, which means the 2 greatest players of their respective generations are going to be settled on the same stage on the same night. If Argentina win, Messi becomes only the 2nd player in history to win the World Cup twice as captain. If Argentina win, Argentina become only the 3rd team in history to defend the World Cup. If Argentina win, Messi does something that no argument, no statistic, no alternative opinion, no hot take, no podcast, no LinkedIn post, no sports bar debate in any country on earth will be able to meaningfully contest. At 39 years old. With growth hormone injections at 13 that Barcelona paid for on a napkin. With 15 years of being told he was not Argentine enough. With the Copa drought and the 2016 retirement that lasted about 45 minutes before 46 million Argentines collectively said, "Get back out there," with Qatar, with Miami, with 8 goals at 39. Lionel Messi will have been the greatest footballer who ever lived and will have proven it on the biggest stage in the sport twice in consecutive tournaments. France is going to need a bigger plan than England had. England had a plan. Step 1 was stop Messi. You know how that went. Allez les Bleus. But also, let's go Argentina. Every footballer starts the same way. A ball, a street, a flat surface, and something round. But only one of them, only one in the entire history of the sport, became this. Not through genetics alone, not through coaching alone, not through one great tournament or one great team or one great moment. Through 30 years of never stopping, even when the country questioned you, even when the trophies did not come, even when retirement was announced and then immediately unannounced by 46 million people. He is 39 years old. He is the best player in this World Cup. He is about to play in a World Cup final. And if he wins on Sunday, we are going to need a bigger word than GOAT. Subscribe. Drop your prediction in the comments. Subscribe for more to come.